This is a bookable summary of the book The Energy Bus by John Gordon. Most of us experience down periods in our personal and professional lives. Sometimes you may wonder if you'll ever be able to recover from those slumps because they seem so deep. So imagine if you boarded a bus one morning and the driver gave you a list of rules for getting you out of your slump. That's what this book is all about, The Energy Bus. Therefore, take a ride on an allegorical bus that teaches you new ways of thinking positively, which enables you to transform your personal and professional life. Here, you'll find 10 rules for giving your life an energy boost. Number 1. A lack of control over your life can breed unhappiness. For many people, positive energy means putting on a fake smile. However, true positive energy goes much deeper. It involves a state of genuine optimism and enthusiasm that leads to a lifestyle characterized by trust, passion, and love. So how can you reach this state? Well, consider George, our fictional leading man in this story. His life seemed perfect. He had a house, a wife, 2 children and a puppy. And he was a team leader at the NRG company, which manufactured light bulbs. Despite his seemingly perfect life, George was miserable. One Monday morning, George's car has a flat tyre, and he is late for a meeting about the launch of a new light bulb. His team falls into disarray, and to top it off, he has a heated argument with his wife. It seems like the start of a terrible week. Things only worsened when George's car had a brake problem, and he was forced to take the bus to work for the next 2 weeks. On his first day on the bus, he was captivated by the driver Joy and her infectious smile. She has met many people like George and knew exactly what he needed. So, she invited him to a once-in-a-lifetime journey, a trip to a happier life on the energy bus. Number 2. Take control of your life and focus on the vision you desire. George was presented with a fantastic opportunity by Joy, but he wasn't prepared to embrace it until his wife and boss told him he was about to lose everything. When he did, he decided to learn Joy's 10 rules for a new life. The first rule was to regain control of your own bus and become the driver. Joy told him that people are often unhappy because they lack control over their lives. Joy continued by stating that in order to truly transform your life, you need to regain control and decide who you want to be and how. However, you must first determine your destination before proceeding. That's where the second rule states that, with vision and focus, you can drive the bus in the direction you want. To demonstrate this, Joy asks George to write down a vision for his personal life, job, and family. To achieve these goals, Joy introduces George to the law of attraction. This concept states that all thoughts are magnetic, which means the things you think about will start appearing in your life. Realizing the powerful potential of this principle, George resolved to spend 10 minutes each day thinking about his goals. Number 3. You can choose how you perceive events, transforming energy from negative to positive. Focusing on the positive can be challenging, but working on your attitude and outlook can make a big difference. The way you perceive events is entirely within your control. The E and P equals O formula shows that events plus perception or positive energy equals outcome. In other words, there are many things you can't control, but you can control how you perceive those events. You can achieve better results by choosing to have positive thoughts instead of negative ones. This is important because positive energy will keep your bus moving forward. Therefore, rule number 3 says positive energy is the fuel for your journey. But how can you keep your fuel tank full? Sometimes it requires looking at things from a different perspective. For example, if you have a lot of work to do, it can be helpful to be grateful for having a job in the first place, knowing that many people struggle to find work. George decides to try this practice by spending 10 minutes walking around the office and thinking about all the things he has to be grateful for. You can follow George's example by making these small practices part of your daily routine and giving yourself opportunities to recharge and re-energize. Number 4. Tell people about your vision and ask them to join you on your journey. Happiness and success often depend on teamwork, whether it's with your partner at home or your co-workers at work. As George began to realise his vision in life, he became concerned that if he was the only one approaching his work with passion and energy, he might not be able to have a successful product launch or improve his marriage. Fortunately, Joy was there with rule number 4. Tell others about your vision and ask them to join you. To make this a reality, Joy informed George about a user-friendly website called theenergybus.com that can help him share his plans with others. Using the website, George can print out bus tickets to give to his wife and team at work. With this knowledge in mind, George met with each of his team members individually, handing out invitations to share his vision. He explained his expectations for the launch in those meetings and asked everyone to commit to the vision. George felt energised by the prospect of adding new travel companions, but he was also nervous that they might disappoint him. To avoid this, his vision needs to be powerful enough to inspire others, something you'll learn more about in the next rule. Number 5. Don't waste energy on people who don't share your vision. Remove negative people whenever you can. When George met with his team again, he was surprised to hear that one team member, Jose, didn't want to join the bus. This unexpected development made George question his vision. How can he succeed if others don't want to help him? Well, in reality, this isn't as important as George thinks. If people don't want to join the bus, you shouldn't try to convince them. Naturally, being surrounded by people with negative attitudes can fuel self-doubt and prevent you from achieving your goals. To handle the situation, Joy told George about Rule 5, which says to save your energy and don't try to convince people who aren't ready to join the journey. Remember, they'll only slow you down if they're full of negativity. And if the negative people do get on your bus, removing them as soon as possible is important. You can think of these people as vampires who suck out your positivity and vision. That's why rule number 6 is to get energy vampires off your bus. In other words, if you have negative people on your team, sit down and talk with them. Or, in situations where you can't get rid of problematic people, like your boss or supervisor, find ways to boost your own positive energy. Number 6. Other people can feel your emotions and be inspired by your enthusiasm. The human body is capable of sensing the emotions of others. Research from the Institute of Heart Math found that the heart can transmit emotions through its own electromagnetic field, which can be detected from a distance of up to 10 feet. This means that the people around us can pick up on our emotions and respond to them. This is why it's sometimes easy to tell when someone is being insincere. On the other hand, when someone is genuinely passionate about something, they share that enthusiasm and positive emotions with others. Therefore, it's important to energise your whole bus, but when you do so, it's also important it's done with true enthusiasm. This is where Rule 7 comes in, which states that enthusiasm will attract more people to join you and motivate them along the ride. As long as you're excited about your work and tasks, everyone around you will feel the same. This is the kind of positive energy you need to fuel your ride for the long haul. Joy calls this role the Chief Energy Officer, or CEO. People who fill this role infuse their team, staff, and even their clients with powerful positive energy that motivates and drives them forward. Number 7. Make your passengers feel valued by giving them your time and recognition. You've probably noticed that you work harder when others recognise your efforts and care about you. Therefore, by loving your team members, you can make them feel good, motivate them to do their best work, and follow you wherever you go. That's why rule number 8 is to love the passengers on your bus. First, be sure to take your time and listen. Regular individual meetings are essential. They offer an opportunity for you to get to know your team personally. From there, it's also important to recognise your employees as individuals and show them how much you appreciate their work. For instance, you should never send an electronic birthday message. Rather, write out real birthday cards for each person on your team. And finally, be sure to recognise the individual accomplishments of every employee you manage. Consider the case of George and his employee Jose. Jose didn't want to get on the bus because he did not feel valued by his boss despite putting in extra hours. When he also asked for a rise, George said he would think about it but never brought it up again. The first thing the new George did after learning about rule number 8 was to thank Jose for all his great work and promise him a raise. As a result, Jose was happy to join George on the energy bus. Number 8. Purpose and fun will propel you to new heights. George was able to save his marriage and spend more time with his children than ever before by implementing all the rules you've learned so far. However, as his new product launch approached, he wanted to find a way to energise his team. To do so, he needed to realise that his work is made easier by the purpose of doing it. The 9th rule is to allow yourself to be driven by a higher purpose. With a higher purpose, you can easily accomplish your daily tasks. So George encouraged his team to see themselves as creators of not just light bulbs, but light itself. They all happily worked late nights with George after deciding to do this. All of a sudden, the group was focused on the same goal. But most importantly, having a goal and having fun can help you perform at your best. This brings us to the 10th and last rule, which says you should have fun on your ride. After all, success is much easier to attain when you're enjoying yourself rather than stressing out. What's your most important key takeaway? Please comment down below and share the video if you like it. Check out these other 2 videos. Thank you, and until next time.